Plastics are remarkable material for everything. I mean, our life on daily basis, it is very clear that they can help us in thousands of things. But definitely, when plastic is so important, we need also to be responsible of how to manage this type of material.
Agree. I mean, from great power comes great responsibility, and plastic is a resource. We need to make it more sustainable. Ciao,
Good afternoon.
Ciao, Emma.
Good afternoon.
I just came back from a client meeting today. Quite tired, but super satisfied. Great energy, and people are really looking, to expand in circularity. How was your day?
Well, lucky you are. I spent all the day looking at numbers for new proposals here and there, but let's hope. Let's cross a finger for the next proposals.
You need to start somewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Luca, let's talk a little bit about plastic recycling. I read somewhere that MAIRE is completing a 5 kilotons per year plant. That's a really significant milestone in bringing the technology to the market. But however, how you compare that type of size with the big size of 300,000 tons of typical virgin plastic?
That's a very great question. Plastic now it's a resource that we have. We are used to producing in incredible quantities, but obviously we need to start somewhere in recycling it. Okay, we need to try to bring impact. 5,000 kilotons is not a huge quantity, but is the minimum quantity that we need to prove our technology of depolymerization, and then scale it up from there in the future.
Yes, actually, you're right. The environmental impact of plastic cannot be denied. But in my opinion, we need to address it in the right way because, it's definitely clear that the global demand of plastic is continuously increasing. It increases with the GDP of a country. So now we are in a downside, but definitely in the long terms, the trend will increase again. Plastics are remarkable material for everything. I mean, our life on daily basis, it is very clear that they can help us in thousands of things, and we cannot come back working and living in the cave of clothes. But definitely, when plastic is so important, we need also to be responsible of how to manage this type of material.
Agree. I mean, from great power comes great responsibility, and plastic is a resource. We need to make it more sustainable. But since you are the expert of plastic, how can we make it more sustainable?
For sure, there are margin of improvement also in the processes. We can try to improve the production efficiency and let's say the emissions, of course, and the optimizing the energy consumption in general. So the real issue with plastic nowadays is to how to manage the end of life. So the management of end of life of plastic, because we can contribute of course, incinerating plastics and not letting the plastics around the environment, especially in the ocean, definitely. But we need to take care of them, definitely. And one of the things that we can contribute in is to increase the percentage of biodegradable plastics. There are processes, technologies that can allow that. Of course, it's still a small percentage of that, but this would anyway improve the biodegradable plastic management, definitely, because this is more consistent with the environment. The plastics in that case will be spontaneously degrading into the environment, and even though left around, let's say, could be somehow managed. In any case, the biodegradable plastics are just one of the solutions. The vast majority of plastic is still virgin plastic, so the attention on how to manage the traditional polyolefin remains on the table. By the way, Luca, actually, I would like to ask you, how do you see directly the waste management at the moment and to close the loop of the plastic recycling?
I think when we come to closing the loop, as you said, and to plastic recycling, we need to take a dual approach. First of all, we need to differentiate between high value and low value feedstock. We need to really take a tailored approach. On the high value feedstock, high value plastic, we need to take them and usually identify technologies that can close it and recycle it as close as possible to their initial use. For example, what we do today is upcycling, what we call upcycling, that is mechanical recycling. we are able to read the history of the material and compounding it together with other waste to give it a new life that is tailored to the final use of our clients. This is replacing virgin plastic, but it's not virgin, it's 100% recycled. And then we need to look also, as I said, at the low value plastic waste that is usually contaminated or is very hard to recycle. Here we have several technologies that have a very flexible approach. Take, for example, MAIRE chemical technology on NX Circular. They can take different amount of feedstock, different amount of plastic waste, and on a large scale, converting it to chemicals and fuels. This is something that we are delivering on our global projects.
Oh yes, Luca, the mechanical recycling in the recycling story is definitely of paramount importance. It's the first leverage, no issue. The virgin plastic industry actually is taking also some steps to, accelerate the circularity. One of that is that we are going to use, and we are using additives to enhance the recycled plastic characteristics, so that when you are retreating the plastics, you can keep the mechanical characteristics of the material. And that is definitely one of the action. The other one is the design for recycling. So think in advance and avoiding combination of incompatible polymers to simplify the sorting and the recycling. Because of course, if you have different type of plastics together, it's much more complicated. So I fully agree the recycling approach is also followed by the virgin material type of industry, but the real issue is scaling up the plants. I mean, logistics and technological scale up seems to be really the challenge.
Absolutely. I mean, we need really to scale up technologies because logistic is a bottleneck. We need to create bigger plants, right, to have a better return on the investment. But at the same time, moving all this waste is a problem. So here again, there is a dual approach. Either we go in a very flexible technology, for example, gasification, where we can have different type of waste coming to the site, and that allows us to really identify bigger volume in the proximity of our plants. Otherwise, what we like to do is also a bespoke approach. For example, with pyrolysis, we are looking at smaller plants that can process the feedstock, the waste on site, and to deliver the product on a larger transformer, larger petrochemical player. This is a dual approach. It really depends from the feedstock you want to treat. What we aim to do in Nextchem is being there with the most fitting and tailored solution.
Okay, Luca, so very clear. So at the end of the day, what we know is that virgin plastic and circularity go together. They have to work together.
No, they must work together. We need to close the loop of the value chain. Now we need to allow waste management, waste player to talk with the producer, virgin producer, so we can finally close the loop as Nextchem.
So thank you, Luca, for the conversation. See you around then.
Thank you, Emma. Always nice talking to you.
Ciao.
Ciao.